Hi everybody, I wanted to walk you through a feature of SketchUp that I was trying to demonstrate in class and ran out of time, and I'm going to use the drawing that we used in class earlier today. This is the set design for the House of Marcus Lycus, which was one of the set pieces in A Funny Thing Happened Away at the Forum earlier this fall. And what I wanted to show you, I'm going to rotate this here just a little bit. What I wanted to show you was the different types of views that you could have. Now right now, what we have here, if we hover the mouse up above, we see we have the hidden line view, which is basically if you were to just make a pen and ink drawing of all the surfaces so that you can't see through the solid surfaces. If you notice, like if I rotate this around, that top dome tends to hide everything unless I move it out of the way. So we see pretty much everything like we'd see it, but without any color, without any texture, anything like that. If we go to the one to the left, this view is called the wireframe, and this is kind of like if everything was just, if every edge and corner was just a wire with no surface, no physical surface, we could see through them. That's what this would do. Now this one kind of gets confusing for folks because there's a lot of lines there, but what it allows you to do is to kind of look through. It almost gives you sort of this sort of X-ray view of what's underneath, so you can see like, oh, okay, we've got legs underneath this platform here, and you can see where the supports are. But as you get back, the more lines you have, and the way this drawing sets up, there's a lot of lines, so we don't necessarily want to use that too often. If I go back to our hidden line, and I'm going to go one to the right, and this is where we add some color, and this is where we talked about adding color to models and surfaces and things like that, and this is where you get your paint bucket tool and you can hit the, select your color, your texture, whatever. The textures won't show up in this view. You have to go to the next view, which is shaded with textures. And if you zoom in a little bit, I'm going to go back and forth between shaded and shaded with texture, and you can see that some of the wood has that wood grain in there to kind of show us that maybe it's a different type of material, or maybe it's got some kind of surface texture that maybe we would be able to see otherwise. And so that gives you a little bit more of a detailed drawing. That also slows the processor down a little bit. So sometimes, a lot of times, if you've got a lot of drawing to do, I'll tell people just kind of keep it on the hidden line view. You can still see everything. It's all monochromatic, meaning it's all the same color. But and sometimes just having the color on helps a little bit to kind of separate those objects. And it also kind of gives us a little more 3D look as well. Now, one option that we have way over here is the X-ray. And you'll notice that when I click on that X-ray, this button, the shaded button, still stays lit. So basically what it does is it just kind of takes, it gives the solid surfaces a little more transparency. So it's kind of like the wire view, except you can still see the colors. There's kind of a little more of a faded quality, so that you can sort of see through it, and yet you can still kind of tell there's a texture there, so it gives you a better way of looking at underneath and what's behind things as well. This one is monochrome, and this just basically, if you went back to the original model where you didn't add any color to anything, this is what it would look like. And this isn't a bad way to look at things either, but it doesn't give you nearly the amount of detail and three-dimensional aspect that we like to see in the models. So the next time you need to look through the different views, but maybe you need to see behind something, you can go ahead and click on one of these, the wireframe or the hidden line view. When you start getting into your heavy details, this is where you want to be, the shaded and the shaded texture view. Hope this helps you getting through some of the views in SketchUp.